So just like I did in a twin, I'm going to review this backwards. This is the last basics quiz you took. I'm not going to do the bonus. 24 says find f of 0. That means what is the value of x when, sorry, not of x, of y when x is equal to 0. So you got a choice here, okay? There is a solid dot at 0, -1, and an open hole at 0, 2. You can't be the hole. It's a hole. All right? So that one is just nonsense. You can't be that thing. Because it's an open hole, the only thing you can be is this guy right here. So it turns out that f of 0 is -1. Like, we're looking at 80% plus student body missing that, and it's not a hard concept. I need y'all to fix that. Here we have average rate of change, or the interval from -4 to 2. And it doesn't really matter how many times I talk about this. You put a dot when x is -4. You put a dot when x is 2. And then you go back to that middle school mentality. And you connect the dots. And you think, okay, I fall 3. And I run 6. Now because I fell, it's negative. And -3 over 6 is -1/2. I was really alarmed at the number of students, specifically 5th period, who can't find x and y intercepts. Like, I need you to get it together. A y-intercept is where you cross the y-axis. This is the only thing here. This is a hole. There is nothing in a hole. Go take some Q-tips and clear that wax out of them ears, because you ain't hearing something. There is a y-intercept at 0, -1. The x-intercept is where you cross the x-axis, the horizontal axis. You are juniors, and it's right there. And it's at 1, 0. You know, no more than half of 5th period, and that's just the most recent class I've graded, did well on this section. It was just a disaster by far. Constant, think about y equals c, the horizontal line. This is the constant piece of the graph. It's constant for x values between 3 and 5. Decreasing is downhill. That's this piece. The x values that make it such are -4 to 0. I don't know why those are being missed. Increasing is uphill. The x values that make it this way are 0 to 3. I think you're trying not to think. Like, you're just blindly copying and not trying to comprehend. And this is just going to keep hurting you. You've got to learn domain. You've got to learn range. This will be the 10th time I have tried to instruct you on domain and range, at a minimum. All right, state the range. Range is the values of y. The lowest y value is right here, where y is -1. And it's a solid dot, okay? So there's going to be a bracket on that -1. The highest y value is 4, and it's a solid dot, so it's going to be 4 with a bracket. It's this one right here. A lot of kids in 5th period chose B, and you're saying x can be 2 here, and here you're saying it can't be 2. That's a contradiction. If you're saying x can be 2, there's no need to be talking about it right there. So, there you go. All right, 16 is domain. That's your leftness to rightness. And it wasn't meant to be a hard one. So, you start off with an x value of -4, which they all had. Now, you shouldn't have picked C, because you see that solid dot, that's a bracket at -4. And you walk until x is 0, and you say, uh-oh, x can't be 0. Yeah, it can. It's filled in right there. And you walk from 0 all the way to 5, and that 5 is open, so parentheses. It was choice B. They're not that hard. They're not. You just don't want to learn it. I don't know what your strategy is here. 15's a hard one. It is. I had more kids get it right this time. So far, about 20% of the quizzes I've graded have done it, which is better than last time. It is. All right, so the order here that we do things is Bahak. And there is no B, and I know there's no B because I understand this form right here. I know you don't. Oops. I wrote it down wrong. I say I understand it, and then I wrote it wrong. There's no B. So let's focus on H. It's x minus H. This is x minus 2. H is 2. That literally means right 2. So we're going to take everything and we're going to shift it right 2. It's going to put a point there. Right 2 is going to be here and here. And this one's going to go there. And that's what she looks like now. The next thing is A. A is the negative symbol out front. It's negative 1. That means you multiply y by negative 1. So if I multiply a 3 by a negative 1, because y is 3 here, I become negative 3. Oh, sorry, that's negative. That's 4, isn't it? Okay, sorry, I'm at 4. If I multiply a 4 by a negative 1, I become negative 4. If I multiply 0, or y is 0, I get still 0 if I multiply it by a negative 1. If I multiply 3 by negative 1, I get negative 3. The same thing here. We're just reflecting. I feel like I drew that wrong. I did. I got a bit of a head cold. My sinuses are all messed up. It looks something like that. Now I'm ready for the last one. K is this last number. It's plus 3. This is up 3. So I'm just going to take every point and I'm going to shift it up 3 units. So this one that was at negative 4 is now going to be at negative 1. This guy that was at 2, 0 is going to be at 2, 3. This guy right here, it was at 3, negative 3. Now it's going to be at 3, 0. This guy was at 4, negative 3. Now it's going to be at 4, 0. And we get something that looks like this. And like I said, a lot more got it right so far. And I've graded one of my better classes and one of my worst classes. And I think it'll get a lot better 6th period. We'll see. We can hope. All right, for 14, you got to know a rule. But you got to memorize, man. The nth term of an arithmetic sequence is the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference d. And that's the issue we have in mathematics, is you kids don't want to memorize. You have to memorize. So the first term is negative 3, and the difference as we move from left to right is that we gain 5. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2. 2 plus 5 is 7. And we're just going to plug into our formula. Negative 3 plus n minus 1 times 5. We'll have negative 3 plus 5n minus 5. A negative 5 and a negative 3, if you put them together, you get a negative 8. I saw at least one kid write that and then choose something else. I didn't think it was too hard. All right, 13 is one of my favorite things. It's the elimination game. And what we'll do is I'm going to go after y first, so I'm going to double the bottom equation. I'm going to rewrite the top one. I would say half the students I've graded so far have gotten this problem right, which is way too low, to be honest with you. I don't know how you got through Algebra 1. Like, this is not an Algebra 2 standard. It is a legit Algebra 1 standard. But grades are inflated. 8x take away 12x is a negative 4x. Positive 14y plus a negative 14y is nothing. 4 plus a negative 20 is negative 16. I had something else in my head for a second. We divide out the negative 4, and we get that x is 4, which means it's that guy, because this is x comma y, right? X had to be 4. That's what it had to be. 12 in 5th period, this was just a complete disaster. And again, it boils down to memorizing. I keep telling you to memorize this thing right here. Just memorize that. Slope is a quarter. That's going to go in for A. This is H, that's K. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. So y is 1/4 of x minus a -8 and then plus the 4. Now if we take away a negative, we know that's addition, right? At least we're supposed to. We distribute the quarter. A quarter of x is a quarter of x. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you don't know what 1/4 times x is. You need to fix that. 1/4 times 8 is 2. If we put the 2 and the 4 together, we get 6. This isn't hard, children. 11, find the average rate of change for f of x equals x squared minus 3x over that interval. So your formula for average rate of change is f of b minus f of a, sitting pretty over b minus a. You have to memorize formulas. I want to give you all formula quizzes, but it's just going to be another bad grade because you won't do it. This is a, this is b. So I'm going to find f of 5 by plugging in a 5. That's 25 minus 15, which is 10. Now I'm going to find f of a by plugging in a -2. So what I saw was a lot of kids, they just wrote -2 squared and said it was -4. No, it's not. You got to use parentheses. Because you square the -2 and a negative times a negative is a positive. It always has been, always will be. Anyways, take away 3 times a -2. And there were a lot of kids that told me -3 times -2 was -6. It's not. It's positive 6. This is 6. That's 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. So it turns out f of b and f of a are both 10. So we have 10 minus 10 up top, which is 0, which by default makes it choice D. The bottom is 5 minus a -2, which is 7. And 0 over 7 is still 0. In 5th period, you know, number 10, and I'm ranting about 5th period, I'm sorry, but 5th period, you guys have so much work to do. Like, it's so sad. It took me an hour and a half to grade your quizzes. They were so bad. It shouldn't take that long. The formula for slope has always been y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Nobody since 7th grade has taught anything else. Like, this is a middle school math standard. It is such a big deal. That's why I'm testing you on it. Here's x1, here's y1. Here's x2, here's y2. I can fully comprehend that you don't care. But if you want to get through high school math, you're going to have to start caring. 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 take away -3 is 7. 4 sevens. All right, moving forward. Number 9. It literally says this is f of 2 plus g of 2. So let's just do what it says. This is f. Let x be 2. 2 times 2 minus 7 plus g of 2, which means that the x in g is 2, so plus 3 times 2 minus 5. Now 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. And then we just start putting things together, like 4 plus 6 is 10. -7 plus -5 is 12. 10 minus 12 is -2. Like, is it the arithmetic that's getting y'all? Because if it is, you need to work on that. You are juniors. You should be able to add and subtract. Alright, pay attention what this one's asking for. It's asking for g of -3, which means that every x in g becomes a -3. So this x is a -3. And you know, what I saw a lot of kids do was they just ignored the fact that 9 was negative. -9 minus 5 is not 4. -9 minus 5 is -14. Always has been, always will be. I made 6 and 7 kind of easy if you know how to FOIL. And there's a couple of you who do not know how to FOIL. Again, I'm not sure why you're a junior. Like, you need to figure this out. So here's the right answer. Because 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times 4 is a minus 20x. 3 times x is plus 3x. And 3 times a -4 is minus 12. And by God, -20x plus 3x is -17x. It looks just like it was supposed to. It's choice D. Correct answer for this one is C. Because again, foiling, x times x is x squared, plus an x. Draw the stupid arrows. Minus 10x, minus 10. And guess what x take away 10x is? It's negative 9x, children. Like, I'm making these easy by making a multiple choice. I'm trying to get you to FOIL. Keep moving backwards. 5 is literally FOIL. You know what? Maybe foiling doesn't make a lick of sense to you. Let's do a box. Let's make one side 3x and negative 5. And let's make the other one 4x and a negative 1. 3x times 4x is 12x squared. 4x times negative 5 is negative 20x. Negative 1 times 3x is minus 3x. Negative 1 times negative 5 is 5. So we have a 12x squared. We have a positive 5. And here, if we put these together, we have negative 23. Choice C. 4 was, believe it or not, like legit the easiest question on the entire quiz. It was 100%. Solve for M. The reason we don't do well is we don't understand that in between this M and that set of parentheses is the multiplicator operative. The opposite of multiplication is division. And if you're going to divide the right-hand side by x minus x1, you're going to divide the left-hand side by x minus x1. That's what it is. It is legit the formula for slope. Miss Garner told you that point slope formula was a rewrite of the slope formula. Moving forward, the ACT section, complete disaster, 100% disaster because we didn't do our practice sheet. The standard form for the equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. You can't sit there and complain about my class if you don't do anything. You get h and k from right here. So x minus 4 squared plus y minus 7 squared equal r for radius, 9 squared. 9 squared is 81. Always has been, always will be. Sine. I understand this. For some reason, we do not know how to spell SOHCAHTOA. You're like, Milbrath, you didn't teach us this. No, I didn't. Your geometry teacher taught you this. You're expected to remember things in math. That's just the way it is. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and you're at angle A. Opposite of angle A is a 5. The hypotenuse of the triangle is 10. So the sine of angle A is literally 5 over 10, and you should reduce that. Everybody alive knows that 5/10 is a half. Everybody knows that. Everybody. I'm going to pause real quick and blow my nose. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Still sound like poop. So, you know, number 3 had a fraction, and I'm a teacher. I mean, I know what happens when you put fractions in. It gets bad. It does. I get it. The opposite of division is to triple. And if you triple the left, you had best triple everything on the right, which is where a lot of kids made mistakes. 3's cancel on the left. Notice I did not distribute the 3 into 6x minus 1. This becomes 30 minus 6x. Here we have the 2. 2 times the absolute value of 6x minus 1 is 30 minus 6x. Now, there's lots of things you can do with the 2. I would probably just multiply it in. Distributive property. Absolute value of 12x minus 2 is 30 minus 6x. Now, it says select 2 because you had to write 2 equations. That's what you had to do. One of them is as is. 12x minus 2 is 30 minus 6x. On the other one, we change these signs. It's negative 12x plus 2 equals 30 minus 6x. Now, I'm just talking about my 5th period here, but I don't think half my 5th period can solve an equation like this. And I'm not sure how you got this far. We're going to add 6x to both sides. 12 plus 6 is 18. We're going to add 2 to both sides. 2 plus 30 is 32. And we're going to divide by 18. I need you, for your own sake, to fix your issues with simple algebraic equations. Now, 32 and 18 are both divisible by 2. They're both even numbers. That's 16 ninths. All right, the other equation. I'm going to just go ahead and shift left. Negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6. 32 minus 2 is 28. And then I divide out the negative 6. And this reduces. Those are both even, right? 28 divided by 2 is 14. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And we'll just shift the negative up to the numerator where it belongs. Negative 14 thirds. Number 2, bad. Like number 2 was atrociously bad. What most kids did is they put a 5 here, and they actually put a 5 here, but they forgot about that guy. I legit teach easy things first. Well, I probably would have cleared the fraction, but if you'd have moved that 7 over, you wouldn't have made the mistake. So if we add 7 to both sides, we'd have had a negative 5. And now is a really good time to 5 both sides. 5's cancel. Okay, so that leaves us with 1x greater than 5 times 3, 15x, 5 times negative 5 minus 25. Now I can sit here and think of the names of students who don't know what 5 times 5 is, and I need you to fix that. I get that you have a serious deficit in math, but you're in Algebra 2. You've got to work on that. From here, I'm going to shift my x's right and my numbers left. So if I jump an inequality symbol, I still change my sign. That becomes positive 25, and 15 minus 1 is 14. And then I just divide out the 14. You know, I can think of a couple of kids who wrote this. This says, if you read from right to left, x less than 25/14. It was choice A. All right, last one. You see how long this is taking? I'm doing all the work. I'm at 22 minutes, and a great number of my 5th period kids wrote I. Now, one of the reasons a lot of my 5th period kids wrote I is because you didn't do the twin. You didn't do it. Of course you couldn't finish it in time allotted. And I don't have any pity for you. I don't. I can't. It's not that I don't care, it's that I can't care about certain situations. When a teacher gives you a piece of paper on a Monday and it's due on a Friday, I can't care that you didn't get it done. Because you should have. You have to accept personal responsibility for your actions. Now let's clear this fraction. The opposite of division is multiplication. If you do it to the left, you had best do it to the right. That's called equality. 5's cancel. Notice I did not distribute it in. 8 times 5 is 40, so I'm left with twice 2x minus 5 is 40. And there's lots and lots of ways of doing this. Pretty common theme was to divide both sides by 2, at least what I've seen so far. 2's cancel, obviously. 40 over 2 is 20. We add 5, 2x is 25, and then we divide by 2 and we get 25 halves. There you go, kids. That is the entire quiz. Took me 23 minutes with full explanations. I went nice and slow for you. Truth is, I didn't have 23 minutes to give you, but I gave it to you anyways. Please start trying to learn how to do algebra. That's what you're in this class for. Whether you need algebra or not, at the next stage of your life, you've got to pass my class, so you've got to learn some of that algebra content. Please start learning it. It was so painful on me to grade. Don't do that to me again.